I want us to move to another conversation that has gripped the country, and this is on the alleged abduction of MP Koimburi. And after he was found, I think he went missing for, was it a day or two? After he was found, we heard from the investigative authorities, by the way, who had quite a bit to say about what their investigations had uncovered. Watch.
Comparing vegetations and road dimensions at the scene with those in the video, it was established that the two did not match. The caretaker of the coffee farm, which is owned by one Jimmy Wajigi, stated that he had not witnessed such an incident. Katana admitted to dropping the MP at a hotel where he had refreshments and spent the night with two abductors on 25th May 2025 following the alleged abduction.
The investigating team were denied access to go and interview the Honorable Member of Parliament, which we very believe that he did not suffer any injuries whatsoever. And perhaps he could as well be staying at the Karen Hospital enjoying his 5-course meal.
An interesting statement coming from both the DCI and the police.
Yeah, the police IG. What are we talking about here? Because from that Sunday, was it afternoon or just before afternoon, when we saw Koimburi in a church, and thereafter you hear allegations that he has been disappeared, forcefully disappeared. And now the stories that we're hearing, the images that we woke up to on Monday, which you can see on the screen, which showed a person in distress, in pain, who had really suffered in the hands of whom we do not know yet. But now the police service has come and indicated that indeed this was acted, and there's been a war of words between politicians and the police service. But as we wait to see what exactly happens, because there's even another arrest they have made of an MCA from the county that this member of parliament comes from. I mean, it's fascinating of what the police are able to do within a very short time. Yeah. That I remember we had a conversation here on Daybreak, which was a very heated one on the morning of Tuesday. Yes. And one member of parliament who chairs the Justice Legal Affairs Committee, Honorable Murugara, claimed that he does not believe that Koimburi was abducted. This could actually be a drama series. Now the police are saying as much. So if within a day or two, the police service is able to determine and come forth with so much detail, I'm just wondering how much police can actually be able to do in a period of 11 months of what we've seen in this country. Yeah. The torture,
efficiency, injustice,
the killing of young people.
Right.
11 months later, you still don't have answers. But in 2 days' time, all this.
And you see that coming after politicians had made somewhat similar statements that are now seemingly validated by the police. It would be interesting. I suppose, and this is not passing judgment, because we don't know what happened. We don't know the nature of this case. But when statements like those seem to validate one political side, then the police need to be very careful about the perception and certain insinuations that might be made into that. What you're saying is very interesting, Sam. Curiously, the police have been able to investigate this case quite thoroughly in about 2 days, and they have found, and by the way, not only have they done those investigations very swiftly, they've also very articulately communicated that in writing statements out to the public, saying we went out, we investigated, we found this.
They give a whole trail.
These people, they've given a whole trail.
Yeah.
But yet they're unable to investigate cases of abductions that have taken place over the last 11 months. There's people to date who remain unaccounted for. And for that, the police seem to still have no clue as to what happened. And this is what we need to be careful of. I want to take this opportunity to also bundle something else. It might be unrelated, but there is a point here. when the late Ongondo Were was shot and murdered, in the streets of Nairobi along Ngong Road, equally then, police investigations were very swift. They already had CCTV camera of people at an M-Pesa shop. They had already trailed all of these people. Less than a month after that shooting, there's people who have taken plea. Yep. In this case, in the court of law. So the police need to be very careful about how swiftly they do investigations when it comes to members of the political class. And this is no disrespect to the family of the late MP because, they have lost a loved one. But these are the things that start to build distrust with the people of this country and start to show an us versus them. So here now we have this very detailed, this is what happened. I don't know, they went where, they spent a night here. And, even the tone of the language, they spent an entire night together, that this is, he's enjoying his 5-course. Yes. In the statement that was sent out today, they said an entire night together. We are hearing DCI Amin saying he's enjoying his 5-course meal at Karen Hospital. So you see, now you're moving from the investigative realm, right, into...
political.
Thank you.
Exactly.
And opinion-based. And that is interesting. So the same way they're able to say, according to them, this was, choreographed, that these are the things that are happening, then it would seem we have a very efficient police service, but for whom?
For the political class, is it? Yeah.
I think two things, guys.
Yeah.
I'll have a story for you, and I reserve it until this whole saga is resolved. Then I'll talk about that coffee plantation that we saw there.
We'll hold you to that.
That is one.
We shall remember that. This
but the second one, I want to just agree on the efficiency.
Coffee, maybe?
Oh, sorry?
Over coffee, maybe?
Over coffee?
No, right on this desk.
Over coffee. We can have coffee.
No, right on this desk.
I see what you do.
And I don't think we've ever had coffee around here.
No,
Yeah. And the second thing is the police. You're totally right, Yvonne. With this same speed, where Koimburi. Now, can we be told, it's nearly a year, since Collins Jumaisi, the suspected serial killer, escaped from a police station, that is, was it Gigiri?
Yep.
Together with 12 Eritrean nationals. Can we be told about Collins Jumaisi by the police? I think this is the lack of accountability that we were talking about. And na pia ni ile ya kubeba Kenyans in a certain way. That actually you have a serial killer that can disappear into thin air.
Who, by the way, is alleged to have chopped bodies, eh? It wasn't just, in pieces.
Stuffed
right?
Yeah.
So as long as that question is not settled, then we'll also always look at these other very speedy, efficient investigations, unfortunately from a political angle.
Yeah. I found it interesting. Sorry, you can go on.
Okay, thank you. I think for me, it would be interesting to see what is finally presented in court and if it will stand the test of time. Because the level of efficiency that we are seeing from Kiambu Road is unprecedented. But in similar fashions, we've seen it before. These cases tend to collapse when they're brought before courts of law and they're put to test. We've seen many of such, and they never go to the full trial. Along the way, the office of the DPP and the DCI get into a very, very confusing game of who approved the charges, who decided on what. And I think this could show to trends that at times some of these investigations, the speed at which they happen, doesn't really mean well for the cause of justice. But they're done or seem to be justifying a particular narrative. So we want to trust that at the end of the day, what will be presented in court, like I saw the police IG saying yesterday that they're still working on what to finally charge the MP with, will stand the test of time.
Yeah, and maybe there's legal minds around the room. Jamila, you want to?
No. I just wanted to maybe talk about the perception of what we've seen the past maybe week or so about those who are seen to be critical of the government being arrested for one reason or the other. We can take an example of Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya. We can look at Member of Parliament for Mumias East, Salasia, and how walibebwa in whatever circumstances, whatever they have done, if maybe hate speech on the part of Salasia and embezzlement of funds on whatever it is on the part of Governor Natembeya, but the spectacle of it all and how it was it done according to the law? But then now we look at what they have in common. I'm forgetting there's a third person also who was also arrested. If you look at the thread that binds them is the fact that they've been critical of the current administration. And maybe we need to look at what Bonyo is talking about, then wakifikishwa mahakamani, what is it? Because compared to what had been alleged that George Natembeya was accused of, I think, embezzling about 1-point-something billion, what he ended up being charged in court for was about 2 million shillings. Salasia was kept in the cells over the weekend and presented to court, but what exactly did he say? Where did he say it? Is a question of exactly how the law is being applied. Is it being applied selectively? Because I remember, I'm not citated, but even former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was someone before the NCIC because of utterances that he made. About 2027 being a Christmas party, compared to what happened before, if the government is seen to have rigged the election, and the reaction to that. But he said, well, kama mnaniita mimi simuita wale wengine wote ambao wanasema whatever it is else that they have said that are deemed to be insightful and all that, not justifying what you said that isn't, but maybe we need to be applying this across the board to everyone, whoever says whatever it is, whether be in government or outside of it, sheria inafasa kukata mbele.
Yeah, both ways. Listen.